was seated at one of my favorite snack spots on campus, and seated next to me were two French ladies who had a hard time communicating what they would like to eat to a waitress in English. They spoke a lot of French and just added a little bit of English to it. So as I was seated there, I decided to walk up to them, and then I spoke the little French that I knew to them in English, and I assisted them get the snack they wanted by serving as an interpreter between the English waitress and the two French ladies. Later on, one of the two French ladies asked me if I was French, and I replied by telling her that I was actually English. They asked me to join their table, and then we had a conversation. This was actually how I got to know one of my very good friends. And this is one of the surprising and unexpected ways in which language can revolutionize your life. This is the Daily Trend Show on New World TV Info English, and our topic for today is linguistic benefits and occupations of linguistic. So to begin with, we are going to talk about what linguistics actually is and what it entails before we look at the other aspects of linguistics. So, linguistics is the study of the nature of language and communication. Linguistics has to do with how language functions. It has to do with how we use language and the similarities between languages.
Yeah, it's also, the father of linguistics, Ferdinand de Saussure, defines linguistics as the scientific study of human language. Okay, not any other language, but human language. He also gave two principles, the signifier and the meaning, saying that if I say something that you're not able to understand, then that is not human language. That is not supposed to be a linguistic sign. That.
Okay. So basically, linguistics is about the science of language, how language evolves, how people from different localities speak different kinds of languages. And when you talk about something being a science, that means the thing goes through research. Goes through observation, evaluation, and experimentation. So linguistics is a whole thing on it. It's a broad something. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about linguistics, we're talking about the sciences. How, like people, as she said earlier, when you Ferdinand de Saussure, the father of modern linguistics, when you hear a word, how it sounds in your head. Like currently, when you hear chin chon, chin chan chan, we all know it's from the Asian continent. Okay. It's due to linguistics that we have had all these notions. So this is what basically linguistics is.
Okay. Yeah. So when you see something surprising, or you see something shocking or interesting, or even when you write something, when you sing, anything we do, we usually use language. This shows that linguistics form a key part of our daily lives.
Yeah, and society and language go hand in hand. There cannot be a society without a language, or vice versa. There cannot be a language without a society as well. So if there's a society, there has to be a language. Or if you call a place or an organization a society, then it means that there has to be a language that is common. That's common between.
And even when you go to university, we consider linguistics as a program, as a course. It's as a whole package on its own for 4 years. Consider it's a very exciting course because you learn how people pronounce various sounds, as in French, how their words are pronounced. All these types are what linguistics does. It helps you to pronounce sounds in like French. You have something like chasseur. Linguistics helps you to know how to transcribe these words, how to pronounce them, even without you knowing how to speak French.
And normally people think that if you are a linguist, then you're a biglot. That means that you can speak. Is it a biglot or biglot?
It's polyglot.
It's polyglot.
Okay.
Speaking of several, someone who speaks several languages.
Right. So people think that if you are a linguist, then you are a polyglot, right? But then that is not necessarily the case. If you are a linguist, you can hear a language that is foreign to you. You can transcribe it, and that is what will make you to be able to repeat or to speak that language, but that does not necessarily mean that you understand it. So if you're a linguist, does not mean that you understand so many languages.
And I also like to add that, as she said, that being a linguist does not automatically mean that you are a polyglot. There are linguists who speak just one language and they specialize in just one field of language. So a lot of people think that once you are a linguist, then automatically you can speak a lot of languages. That is not so. A linguist may just speak only one language and has speciality in that one language.
Yeah, and also sometimes even confuse them with grammarians due to how they analyze language and all those stuff. But a linguist is not a grammarian or a polyglot.
And a linguist in a chieftaincy certain as well.
Yeah, interpreting what... Sometimes it's not like the chief doesn't understand what he is saying, but he's there to interpret all those kinds of words for them. That's what basically linguistics is. That's what just linguistics is, the studying of how languages are formed. How
So in other words, you are trying to say that the fact that I am a linguist does not make me a translator.
Yeah.
The fact that you're a linguist.
I'm a linguist. Yeah. Okay, sorry to say. The fact that I'm a linguist doesn't make me a translator. It's not like it's my job, but it's just that maybe I may be able to interpret.
Yes.
But we have translators who are not linguists.
Yes.
Yeah, so you cannot just say all linguists, people who study linguistics or people who dealt in linguistics are translators. And
even taking the chieftaincy certain as an example again, you realize that when we are in the palace, right, and people are talking to the chief, the linguist just repeats what the people say in the same language, maybe translating some proverbs or explaining some proverbs that the chief says to the people, but it is still in the same language.
Yeah. Okay. And looking at another aspect of linguistics, we have how the organs are supposed to meet to pronounce sounds. That's the phonetics under linguistics. That has some branches under linguistics, the morphology, phonetics, syntax, and the rest. So one of them is stating how these organs meet, like the lips and the teeth meeting to pronounce g or b. These are all what linguistics is. Sometimes when you're pronouncing b, like your two lips have to meet, as in b. This is b. And sometimes they call it bilabial something. Okay. That's English. That's what linguistics totally entails. So when you're doing the linguistics, that's what you just have to know everything. You have to know everything about language. Sometimes you learn diversity ways of people saying one thing. Diverse ways of people saying one thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, for example, with the phonetics, as our brother stated here, I think that one has to do with the sounds. Okay, how words are actually pronounced. So, for example, as he said, like, although bo, b, and po, we realize that there's a pronunciation based on the lips. But linguistics studies why they sound differently. And with linguistics, also looks at why in certain languages we have S. For example, in French, poisson, which is fish. Double S means S. And then one S means Z. So when we have poisson, Poisson, it sounds. And if we have poison, Poison, which is poison, it sounds Z. So linguistics studies all those things.
And even to add up, those basically in French, when there's an S between two vowels, it's pronounced as Z. As in conclusion in French would be conclusion, because the S is between two vowels, and we can go on. So basically, that's what linguistics is totally about.
It's the study of language.
Study of language, how the language evolves, how languages have evolved to this extent. That we can see that we can pronounce this word as this word as that. And whilst we are doing all this stuff, we are acquiring some linguistic skills. We are acquiring research, how to do research, because linguistics is basically about researching languages, how the Evers speak, how the Fanti speak, how the Francophone countries speak, how the Anglophone countries speak. You can go to, take Ghana for instance, you have the Akan language. In the Akan, they speak Fanti and Chi, but we have Equiapim Chi, Gomwa Chi, and all kinds of Chi. And even with the Fanti, we have Equiapim Fanti. Even with the Fanti, we have Infantim Fanti. These are all what linguistics does. This is what, when you talk about linguistics, that's what it entails. So when you go to the university, one of the courses you can really offer, it's a very nice course though. Just an advice I'm giving. You can really offer linguistics in the university. We thought about who composed.
If you are interested in language, that is,
if you are interested in it, you can.
And later you can just rise into one area of expertise when you are doing your masters, which is the applied science or applied linguistics, forensic linguistics and language sciences.
Okay.
Yeah.
But even under, you see, linguistics is a science, as you said, and the father of modern linguistics is Ferdinand Saussure. And under linguistics itself, there are branches, which, as you stated, we have morphology. Morphology deals with the constructions of words. We have syntax, the constructions of sentences. So it looks at how these words come together to form sentences, meaningful sentences. For example, we can say there is, like, the boy is. Sometimes in French, the boy is come.
Sometimes in French, you cannot do a direct translation. It will be wrong. Linguistics help you to understand why it's not that way. Sometimes even when you ask the teacher will tell, go to academic France and go and ask them why they say that.
Yes.
It's all there. And also, to add something small, you said Ferdinand de Saussure is the father of modern linguistics, but currently research has proved that Noam Chomsky is currently the father of modern linguistics. He's 97 years old in one of the universities in UK.
97 years?
Yeah.
I think it was 70 years.
No, currently I think it's 97.
Okay.
And also, the reason why he said it's notable for the groundbreaking theories and transformation of the universal grammar. He brought that in now, so that's why most people currently there is termed as the father of modern linguistics, even though we all know that Ferdinand de Saussure brought about linguistics.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even also to chip in, Ferdinand de Saussure never wrote any books about linguistics. Okay. But even though he's regarded as one,
he never did.
Yeah. The history says that his two students that he taught compiled the books on linguistics and made it available. Charles Barley and I think another person, I've forgotten the name. They brought about the books of linguistics.
Okay.
So basically, I think we have elaborated on what really linguistics is and what we really mean by linguistics. When you go to the university, what you are going to really know about linguistics. What to expect when you are doing linguistics in the university, or what to expect, or when you hear someone say he's a linguist, or someone says I'm offering linguistics in the country or in this university or in this private sector.
Okay, we have been talking about linguistic skills. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue. Okay, welcome back from that quick break. Now we will be delving into some career options that you can venture into when you study linguistics.
Yeah,
okay.
And when you study linguistics, I think there are some linguistic skills you acquire.
Yes.
That's you acquire the reading, the writing, the speaking, and the listening. So these skills makes you venture into various kinds of. You can get a job in the public sector, the private sector, and even in the normal, the public or private sector, depending on where you want to
Before
go.
we continue, I want to put out there that the linguistic skills are for, we have the listening skills. That is to say that when someone is speaking, how do you hear it? What do you hear? Okay. And then we also have the speaking skills. After you have listened to people talking, what have you gained to talk, right? To also say something out of that. Then we also have the reading skills. After you have listened, you have spoken, then it is time for you to be able to read something. Then we also have the writing skills. Yeah. That is the last one. So after you have listened, you have spoken, you have read, then let's get to writing. Then you have to write something.
And to add up to it, apart from those skills, I think some of the skills you can acquire when you do linguistics is research skills. That's including the knowledge of research. That's in linguistics, you have to research why people are pronouncing the bill and the bill.
Yeah.
So it's important how to conduct a thorough research.
Okay.
And also you can also the ability of accountability, how to collect and interpret and all those stuffs. Because when you are studying you are using the adverbs, the words or the adverbs, anything. It's a noun though. When you are using them, you are studying their language. when they say like woo or something, you have to know how to interpret it to another person who doesn't understand it. You have to know it. You have to know all this stuff. So when these are some of the skills you can acquire in doing linguistics. And also when after acquiring all these skills, you can even become a professor of linguistics.
Yeah, like our lecturer.
Yeah, Mr. Gwisime. You'll be teaching linguistics as to a student in the university, in the secondary school. As you'll be teaching them how the whole history of linguistics.
Yeah.
It's a job you can also do when you do linguistics in the university.
You can also become a language speech pathologist. That is to help people who have difficulty in communicating or they have difficulty with their speech. You can help people with that. So that is another career option too that you can also venture into.
Okay, and you can also become a lexicographer, and those are people who help in writing the dictionaries. So if you are able to study linguistics very well, you can assist in that. You can also become a PRO, which is a public relations officer, or you can be a librarian.
Yeah, and
as
also
far as you did
linguistics has even helped many people that study, because when you study linguistics and you're going to do law, it's a plus bonus for you, because you have learned how people speak various kinds of languages and all those stuffs and all kinds of stuff. Because when you are going to be a lawyer, it's about your talking, your speech, your knowledge,
so,
how you communicate with a person, how your listening skills are. So when you do linguistics and you're going to be a lawyer, it's a plus bonus for you.
So it kind of opens up the way for you to venture into other things.
Than someone who just has just ventured into law school.
Yeah, you have an upper hand.
Yeah, you have the upper hand before that person. And so it sometimes even help the diplomats and the ambassadors.
You can also become a translator or...
Yeah. Basically,
no. Actually depends. You can translate, but professionally, that isn't your job.
Okay.
It's just because of your nature, what you are mastered in, or what you ventured into. Because you have some people, when you say something in Tree, they understand, but that doesn't mean they are translators.
Yeah.
It's due to their linguistics knowledge, what they know about linguistics.
Or there are people that, after you say something, they can just repeat exactly what you have said.
Yeah.
But they may not understand.
Yeah.
It's just
even
like
though they are not
professor.
like they don't, you know that these people or this person cannot speak this language, but then after you have said it, he repeats it or she repeats it the same way you have, and you're like, hey, do you understand?
Yeah. And also with something, you can even venture into the science and technology field. That's you can become a historical linguist.
Oh, okay.
What's that? In having history, people that have been, the terms that are used in these scientists, sometimes you go to hospital, they'll mention a term for you, be sitting there, you don't even know how the term even came about. Okay. When you do linguistics, you can really there investigate in all these, investigating how these words are coming about, how they pronounce this, how these stuffs are coming, all these in linguistics. When you mention, there are many varieties of jobs, depending on where you want to go. When you mention to the academia, you can get a job there. Private sector can get job. And public sector, mostly I think it's the embassies, right?
Yeah. Embassy, or you can become a diplomat.
From a diplomat to an ambassador.
Yeah,
and I
even
think,
for example, the UN Secretary General, he's
the former
UN Secretary General
Kofi Annan. Yes,
he was.
Yeah, because
he studied linguistics. Yeah. He was a multilingual secretary.
Yeah.
Even our president,
Nana
Akufo-Addo,
His Excellency.
Yeah.
He also speaks.
He speaks French. He went to France the other time and he was speaking French with the president, with France president, and everybody was surprised that our president can speak French.
And all that's what. And also they are even good in marketing. Linguistics people, when they come to the marketing sector.
Yeah,
they're really good due to them studying language and studying how people talk, and they even study their emotions and all those stuffs.
Okay. Yeah. And I think one reason they are also very good in that sector is because they are able to communicate with different kind of people. So, for example, an employer would easily want someone who is bilingual or multilingual to work with him, because he will be able to advertise or market his things to people who don't speak his language. And with that, it improves networking.
Yeah.
And I
But
think
equally, they are also good editors or proofreaders. That's because they actually study
Read the
the
language
well.
and know the
It's
rules.
structure
Yeah.
and everything.
They know the rules of the
It's
language, so
how
they
to
know
pronounce
that.
certain things. That's in
And the
French,
code of conduct, they know everything.
French and their
concerning
complicated ways of their language. That's in gender, agree when it's être and all those stuffs.
Yeah.
Studying linguistics has so many importance.
Importance.
Like when someone is mentioning a particular word and they don't know, like they don't mention it well, you know that it's because of their linguistic background. That's why they are not able to pronounce certain words. Like the Ashantis of Ghana, when they mention a word that R, there is R in the word, but then they are not able to pronounce the R and they replace it with L.
But currently they say it's not because of that.
What do they say?
They say it's like they are not good at speaking English.
No.
So basically when you say they are Ashanti, they are not good at speaking English.
Please,
That's what basically we say.
I've met Ashantis that are very, very good in English.
But this thing, they also helps the public. When you do linguistics, you can socialize with, you can get new people, you can become friends with new friends.
Just as I stated.
Yeah, just as you stated.
Because studying the language, sometimes you have to travel to the domain where the people speak the language and know how the origin of the language. Okay. And through this, it's one of the benefits you can get when you study linguistics.
Yeah.
Being in the socializing with them, making friends, so in case even there's a war, a certain thing in your country, you can run to them. You can go and say, because they know you have socialized with them, so they know you well. You have their numbers. Sometimes you can even create connections just by learning language.
Yeah, and okay.
People actually open up more when you can speak their language.
Yes, it's true.
They see you as their family.
It's true. Even if you go to the sorry to say, but if you go to the market and you want to buy something, you speak the same language with the person selling the thing. Like
sometimes
he's dashing you everything.
He's gifting everything.
He's gifting you everything. Like yeah.
And it also creates more traveling opportunities for someone. For example, if you are just limited to speaking only one language, your mother tongue, you would be thinking of whether you can easily survive in another country. Because, for example, some people can't travel to a French-speaking country because they are scared. They don't understand anything. They wouldn't know how to go about their lives and all of that. But when you study linguistics, it would open you, it will expose you to different languages too, and you'll be able to.
And I think this has brought about the exchange programs some countries are doing with the scholarship, German scholarship, Canadian scholarship. Due to this linguistics way, that's some of the benefits you get due to linguistics. It's breaking language barriers. Because when you study linguistics, and you can help you to speak other languages, so people they are giving scholarships for free, Canadian scholarship, have British and all those kinds of scholarship, to help you to go to the country. Because in China, for instance, if you go to China to do medicine or something, you have to learn the Chinese language for a year before you continue with your course.
I think that studying linguistics also gives you more advantage into learning new languages. Like if you know linguistics, you can be able to learn other languages easily than someone who doesn't know linguistics.
And even learn the languages broadens your horizon. That's you have to do a lot of research. The research it makes you gather new intelligence.
And it makes you critical.
Yeah, it can even make you venture into another aspect that you were not even thinking of. As in the culture, the way of life and everything.
Yeah. And it empowers people to, especially maybe if you're going for a job interview. And you go there and you're like, nowadays they are looking for people who can speak like 2 or more languages. So if you go there, you go for the interview with people who can speak only one language, you have the upper hand because you can speak,
I think that's what actually distinguishes you, because if you and your other applicants have similar achievements and qualifications, if you speak more languages than the other people, that serves as a bonus for you. And with this new global village, every employer is looking for someone who will be multilingual to sell their company outside.
And also sometimes they can even become a sociolinguist. That's people that find the connection between society and their culture. That's their language. How people, what's the main link between this culture and their language? What brought about that link? When you study language, you can venture into all these kinds of atmosphere. These jobs, they are very cool. Linguistics is one of the cool jobs you can ever get in this modern world. Hey,
Linguistics
you
is
can
not a
do
job.
it's not a job. So of course you can study in this modern world. Sorry for there's that slight mistake. So thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying tuned with us on this another exciting episode on the Daily Trend Season 3 TV show on the New World TV Info. You can follow us on Facebook, the Daily Trend, at the Trend TDT. And also on YouTube under the New World TV, the Daily Trend playlist. Thanks and have a lovely day.